Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Fox, and welcome to another episode of Legendary Discussions, where we talk about stuff and things. Today's topic is supports, and we're going to be talking about all what makes an aggressive versus a passive support, including Batman sound effects. So, that is necessary, I feel, for a support, to have sound effects, you know? So, once you find yourself in the support role, most people will just sit there and moan and groan. But there are two different kinds of supports that you can play. There are squishy supports, like Soraka, and there are tanky supports, like Tark. Tanky supports tend to be able to do that. They tend to have a very hard CC attached to them because most of them are melee ranged. Whereas squishy supports find themselves to be a little lacking in that department because they are ranged, they can stay out a little bit more. But see, right there, that is where squishy supports will start to benefit, is because they can trade better, but once an initiation happens, then the tanky support kind of takes over. And on bottom, we all get bored every now and again, and this guy takes that to a whole new level. Ends up dancing in the middle of the lane because no one's there. I thought it was rather funny, so why not? Why not? Anywho, once you find yourself in the tanky support area, you're gonna find that initiating, especially with someone like Urgot, is gonna behoove you a great deal. And then it allows other people to gank and come in because you have enough hard crowd control to hold them into the fight. Like in that case, Tark's stun, along with Urgot's initiation, really left them in a great place. And Shen never had to use his ultimate, especially because it was down, and ended up having a great deal of damage to be able to be dealt, especially to the squishy people like Soraka and to Misfortune at the time, though Misfortune is the tankiest of AD carries. Now, the point of every support is to have wards, and as you can see, the purple team is kind of lacking in that department at the moment, and that is what leads to this whole mess. So wards, be it whether you're tanky or whether you're soft, are really necessary for avoiding those lasers. But even still, when you do pink, you gotta make sure that your AD carry is somewhat close. I mean, this is kind of what happens when you're a support. You're not gonna be able to deal a great amount of damage, even as a support like Tark, who is a close-ranged, bursty caster. So, what's the difference, though, between these squishy and these hefty supports? Well, I'll say the biggest difference between all of them starts to be seen in the mid-game and the late game. The mid-game is where the team fights start to happen. And this is where squishies start to fall, because they get caught and then they melt like you wouldn't believe. Whereas tougher supports are able to withstand that initial burst and become kind of a shield for their AD carry, which is absolutely of benefit. You want to keep your AD and AP carries alive as long as possible. They are the bread and butter of the damage department with you, and you really have to make sure that you keep them alive. Initiations, though, as a tanky support are kind of crucial, because you go in and you stun, and then people are able to follow up, and if you have the right team comp, there is no way that anyone is getting out of that. Particularly in this situation where you have people who slow, who taunt, who stun. This is a really, really good team comp. Although, to be honest, Tark should really, really start avoiding these. I never cease to amaze how many people die to that, baby. But it's okay. That's fine. People die to lasers all the time, and so do I. And here you can see is where a squishy support really starts to come into play. And this is where I believe that Soraka shines the most, is once you reach that team fight stage. Is because she can do this and she can keep people alive. Unfortunately, when you're Soraka, when you get in the center, you kind of explode. So You have to play Soraka as though you are a ranged caster, and just, because you are, and just sit at the back. And sit at the back. Good things to watch out for are bushes and his Shatter. Actually, Tark's Shatter does a great deal of damage. AP Tark is fairly viable, though his ratios are a little low. You should never be at the front as an AD carry against a tanky support. Tanky supports are really devastating when it comes to getting in there. And this is mid game. This is mid to late game. This is where they start to shine. As you can see right here, goes in a little bit too deep, mind you, becomes the focus of absolutely everything, but he lasted a lot longer than any support would have that was squishy. And also, don't be cocky, people. I mean, I know it's all fun and games to sit there and dance, but this is getting a little out of control. Although, to be honest, this Tark really did know exactly what he was doing. He knew how much he could take. I'll give him credit where credit is due. But it's fortunate that he was able to have the Shen ult come up and runs back in, puts Shen in the middle of the team, and everybody gets taunted. Great thing about having Tark on your team, it really is. And the stun! And he goes in for it and forces a flash. So, I mean, even if you can't get the kill with a stun, you are going to be able to force flashes, you're going to be able to burn cleanse, and as a support, that's really all that you can hope for, because money is not exactly something that you are rolling in. So if you're able to burn summoner spells, it's almost like getting money, because you're like, yay, I burned a summoner spell. Hoorah, it's 5 minutes now that they can't do it. And on your average summoner spell, that's absolutely fantastic. Now, this is where I believe Tark becomes one of the best carries, or one of the best supports, rather, is his ability to help out on major buffs and major goals like Dragon. All he has to do, and he didn't in this case because it was down, is ult, and it gives everyone attack damage, ability power, and he's giving everyone armor along with his own damage. So Tark, in the case of taking buffs, is extraordinarily potent. And I'll tell you what, this Tark is he's so aggressive. So aggressive. And there's his ultimate. Nice burn. But those support items, they are good. There is no doubting that. It's just, they're not that good, Tark. You can't catch a Needly. I'm sorry. But no matter what you do, Needly will run. You can, however, catch a Soraka. It's terrifying for her to get caught because she explodes. And I find a lot of Sorakas do like to be at the front line because they want to silence that individual target. And they explode. So, word to the wise, to the people who are playing Tark. Watch for the Sorakas who go to the front. It is an easy stun. It really is. Unless you can go for the carry. That's good to go. Best to go for the carry if you get the chance. But otherwise, go for what you can. You know, don't stun the tank unless you're peeling, but go for what you can. Now, this is where Tark becomes a beast. You are now late game. You have a ton of armor. You're catching everyone out in the open. He's able to run under turrets, bait people out, thinking, oh, he's the only one. And it really forces the enemy team to try to focus him, because he does become a little bit of an issue. Though after he burns his stun, I will say, he doesn't have nearly the effectiveness. Once he burns his stun, he essentially can be ignored. So, Tark is one of those champions who, okay, he has his stun, and he can sit under a turret for a while, but he's more threatening with his stun on him than he is when his stun goes out. Because the stun itself is a second and a half, but it's never knowing when he's going to put it out there. So, definitely what makes Tark one of the scarier ones. Alistar is scary all around because he is a crowd control machine. He acts like a linebacker for your character, especially your AD carry. And Leona is just great all around for initiation, for peeling, for getting people off your AD carry's backs. I mean, overall, she is a fantastic support to have. Now at this point, the game is almost over, and people are getting tanky enough to where they can take a lot, but they can't take that much, let's be honest. As you can see, Urgot is falling low, the laser's gonna kill him. Taric is fighting like a madman, but since he doesn't have his stun, no one's afraid of him, as they shouldn't be. So, well played on Taric's part, a little bit of aggression towards Soraka, but if he's able to help out Lee here, it'll be better. But he can't, unfortunately, and Lee is really kind of their main carry since Urgot is building very tanky. So all that he can do now is stun and run, and no longer is Taric a threat. Taric is only a threat when there is someone next to him to be able to deal damage. Like that. So, catching a Taric with someone else, absolutely not good. The person is going to be able to deal a great deal of damage to you. Catching a Taric by himself, very, very doable, shall we say. One team fight leads to another, and you can see that this is the difference between the squishy and the regular supports, is you can sit in the middle of the group, take AoE, and he's at half health. I mean, he's doing well. He's still okay. Unfortunately, Misfortune cannot catch a break. I mean, she is getting caught over and over and over. But, I mean, what are you going to do? You're playing a champion who can't get away as easily as, say, an Ezreal. So, in any case, playing a tanky support is absolutely amazing. Playing a squishy support is absolutely amazing in the right circumstances, but as of the current meta, I would say that tanky supports are really the way to go. Alrighty guys, my name is Fox. Let me know what you think of the video. If you guys enjoyed it, let me know. I make these. And I will talk to you guys next time on the next Legendary Discussions. See you later.